My first experience with music in church was in my children's choir when I was in second or third grade probably, and we had this great big German nun as our choir director, and her name was Sister Renata, and she taught us how to breathe, and she even let us come up one day, and with her thick German accent, she was explaining that you breathe in, your diaphragm lowers, your abdominal cavity expands, and then she let us put our hands on her stomach while she breathed in. And I'll never forget the experience. She taught me how to breathe. And I loved singing for church. I thought it was a wonderful way to participate in the Mass. And I also got to be in a musical with that children's choir. We did the Tower of Babel, and I beat out all the boys for the role of King Nimrod. And if anybody thinks it's funny to start calling me Nimrod, I'll get back at you by singing the entire solo that I had about my name is King Nimrod. I am not shy, so it'll come back to get you. I played violin, flute, and piccolo. Took a little bit of piano lessons, but I played in bands and orchestras forever, all the way through college, and loved it. In college, I also, there was a Jesuit priest who lived in my dorm at Marquette, and he plays violin, and every Tuesday, he and I would get together to play duets. And I had another friend on Thursdays I would play duets. He was a clarinetist. So it's always been a part of what I do, just making music. And I think it all started with Sister Renata, learning how to breathe. When you sing, when you play music, you have to connect everything you're doing to your body in a very concrete way. And that's why it's so important to sing at Mass. Even if people don't think that they are making a joyful noise that anyone wants to hear, it's important to feel that connection of your whole body. When you take a breath, when you sing out with others, there's all sorts of research that shows that people who sing together release dopamine, the happy drug in your brain. It really is a body and soul experience that is unrepeatable in other activities. In fact, learning how to free the voice is a transformational experience. I gave voice lessons for ever and ever. And one of the most exciting things was to just let my students know that their job was really to get out of the way of their voice, that God had given them a voice, and they have to train their body to breathe and to release the voice so that the thing that God put in there is unrestrained in its voyage out into the world, which is a beautiful analogy to the spiritual life. God gives us all sorts of gifts, and the role of discipline in our life is really to get out of the way of what God put in and cut out all the drama that slows us down and allow God to free us to share our gifts with others. So think about, too, when you're angry, for example, our family sings every night before we go to bed and together, and there are times when I've been really irritated at something that's happened, and I find it actually physically impossible to sing. If you're really angry and you're supposed to be singing a hymn to Mary, you can't do it because you're lying. Your body is lying. You can't sing something beautiful when you feel totally ugly inside. So singing is a great check on our honesty. It's important that we sing at Mass. It's important that we allow our bodies to let God do the work for us. I have always enjoyed being a part of different ensembles. I love giving concerts. I have been involved in lots and lots of choruses and the Milwaukee Symphony Chorus. Singing Beethoven's Ninth at the Chicago Ravinia Festival was kind of like being in heaven, and then I had to come back down to earth, and that was rough. But then also giving solo concerts. Being a soloist is very different from being in a chorus, and I've loved being a soloist around town here too, not only with funerals and weddings and things, but like when at the cathedral there was a production of Bernstein's Chichester Psalms, which is, if you haven't ever heard it, YouTube it right now. Rudder's Requiem with the Bach Chamber Choir in the Basilica. That was amazing. So there's so much that God has given me because I have this capacity and love for music, and it is my great joy to give it back. And it really does strengthen me to hear other people joining in the music at the liturgy. So I hope to hear you singing soon.